Dr. Sleep. So Dr. Sleep is directed by Mike Flanagan, and it is the sequel to The Shining. Coincidentally, The Shining is my favorite horror film of all time, and no other horror film will ever surpass it. So I was a little bit excited for this film. And I was even more excited that Mike Flanagan was directing it. Mike Flanagan has literally created some of my favorite horror films of all time. Oculus, Ouija, Origin of Evil. Never even saw the first one, heard it was horrible. I will probably never watch it in my life. But the sequel is amazing. And I haven't gotten around to seeing the entire Haunting of Hill House, but what I have seen, it's freaking great. Mike Flanagan knows how to do horror. And once again, Mike Flanagan has proved that he is one of the best horror directors working today. I loved this film. It is just 2.5 hours of pure storytelling that was so rich, and I was into it for the entire thing. I never wanted it to end. And the thing that I loved the most about it is that it takes its time with its characters. I feel like that's sort of a lost art sometimes with films nowadays. Films are afraid to just have these little quiet moments of speculation and for you to take, a step back, and for the characters themselves to take a step back, to just realize and take in what's going on in the story. And this movie does it perfectly. And I don't know if this is considered a spoiler or not, but spoiler warning, if you haven't seen the movie yet, go watch it, come back. This is your official spoiler warning, whatever. Characters from The Shining come back in this one in one way or another, and I absolutely loved the fact that they didn't deep fake any of the actors and actresses that were in the first movie and put their face onto another actor or actress in this movie. For example, Mr. Halloran from the first one is in this one too. I don't really think that's a spoiler because you figure that out in the first 5 or 10 minutes of the film. But I was genuinely surprised that it was just another actor portraying Scatman Carruthers from the first film. And I really appreciated that because I could see another director who, if somebody else directed this movie and not Mike Flanagan, they'd probably be very tempted to just deep fake, Scatman Carruthers' face onto, I don't remember his name, onto the guy who portrayed Mr. Halloran in this movie. And I love that Mike Flanagan was like, nope, we're gonna get, just other actors to do the role. Just a little tidbit that I really loved about it. Another thing that I loved about this story and this movie is that it adds to what we already know about The Shining. It does some really, really creative stuff that is so interesting. I was glued to the screen when some of these things started happening. It just completely widens the lore of the Shining universe, I guess is what you could call it. I mean, it gets kind of trippy at some points. It made me a little bit dizzy watching it on the big screen, and the fact that I was so close up to the screen made it even better. And I really appreciated the fact that it wasn't just a sequel to The Shining just to make money. Obviously, it was, a book, and Stephen King wrote it and everything, but I'm glad that it wasn't just this studio movie there to make money off of Stanley Kubrick's masterpiece. It took the source material very seriously, and I just loved every second of it. Another thing that I really loved about this movie is that it has a lot of good callbacks to The Shining, and it doesn't come across as fan service at all. There are a couple of callbacks laid out throughout the first 2 acts of the film, and then when you get to the 3rd act of the film, it just riddled with great callbacks that really make you nostalgic for the first one. And with that nostalgia, it completely deepens the character development of an older Danny Torrance. And the way this movie ended, it's good. Trust me, I almost cried. One last thing I gotta talk about. Rose the freaking Hat. Oh my God, did I love her so much in this film. I thought she was badass. I thought she was terrifying. I forget the actress's name, but she played it so well. Every time that she was on screen, her and her little clan was just so interesting, and I freaking loved every minute that they, and especially her, were on screen. I was very, very satisfied with this film. I want to see it again, and I feel like similar to Andy Muschietti's ultimate cut of It Chapter 1 and It Chapter 2, I feel like when Dr. Sleep comes out on 4K and Blu-ray, I feel like you could, do something and make a supercut of The Shining and Doctor Sleep and have it just this big, like almost 5 hour, 5.5 hour epic whatever. And I just think it'd be so cool to see that. I didn't really have any complaints about this movie. I thought it was damn near perfect from start to finish. It took its time with its characters. The music was fantastic. The acting was fantastic. The story was rich and engrossing. And Mike Flanagan, you've probably made my favorite film of yours so far. I'm going to give Doctor Sleep an A+. So, have you seen Doctor Sleep yet? What did you think? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts about the film. Look forward to more reviews coming soon. I plan to do a review for The Mandalorian chapters 1 and 2, and I am rewatching the Daniel Craig James Bond films. I just watched Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace yesterday. I have some thoughts that I want to get out on those movies. I don't really know why I'm reviewing these movies. It's just because they came out on 4K and they look amazing, so I really want to review those. Along with, I think I'm going to review Hacksaw Ridge at some point, and the final cut of Apocalypse Now. I watched the theatrical cut the other day, and I really want to talk about the final cut once I start to watch it and everything. So look forward to those. But yeah, as always, thanks for watching.